Let me ask you something, and don't answer it too quickly. Have you ever had a déjà vu that felt too real to dismiss? Not the casual kind, the kind where your body reacts before your mind does. Your heart skips, your breath changes. For a split second, you know you've been here before. Or maybe it's the synchronicities, numbers repeating at impossible moments, a thought crossing your mind, and seconds later, reality answering it. A song, a name, a conversation you weren't supposed to hear. Or maybe it's subtler than that. Time stretching, days collapsing into hours, moments where the world feels like it's buffering, like reality itself just glitched. If you've experienced any of this, hear this clearly. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not imagining things. If you experience this, you're not losing your mind. You're perceiving something most people were trained not to notice. What you're sensing has a name in physics, and it makes people deeply uncomfortable. For decades, mainstream science taught us that reality is solid, objective, and independent of us. That consciousness is just a byproduct of brain chemistry, that the universe doesn't care whether you're here or not. But that story has cracks in it, and those cracks started showing almost a century ago. In the early 20th century, physicists ran an experiment so simple it looked harmless. They fired particles at a barrier with two slits. What they expected was obvious. What they observed was not. When no one was watching, the particles behaved like waves, existing in multiple states at once, spreading through space as probabilities. But the moment observation was introduced, everything changed. The wave collapsed. The particle chose a position. This wasn't philosophy, it was measured, repeated, verified. Reality behaved differently when it was being observed. Let that sink in. In the double slit experiment, reality didn't form until it was perceived. Not metaphorically, mechanically. Which raises a question nobody warned you about. If observation changes outcomes at the quantum level, and you are observing all the time, what role is your consciousness playing in the reality you experience? This is where things quietly stopped being comfortable, because once physicists followed this thread, they ran into a wall. Papers exploring the role of the observer in quantum systems were submitted and rejected, again and again. One proposal in the early 2000s was reportedly rejected 14 times. Same reason every time. Too metaphysical, too dangerous to imply, too close to questions science wasn't ready to answer. Questions about the subconscious mind, about vibration and frequency, about whether reality is something you move through or something you participate in creating. This is why you feel isolated sometimes, not because something's wrong with you, but because you're operating on a different frequency. You sense there's a hidden reality beneath appearances, a deeper structure, a quantum field where information, perception, and energy matter more than matter itself. Many people call this a spiritual awakening. Stripped of poetry, it's closer to a shift in perception. Your nervous system is picking up patterns it was trained to ignore. Your awareness is expanding past the consensus signal, and once that door cracks open, it never fully closes. This video isn't here to convince you of anything. It's here to explain why your life might feel like it's looping, why effort hasn't fixed it, and why reality responds to you in ways you were never taught to recognize. But this isn't for everyone, so stay with me. Because what comes next connects quantum consciousness, the observer effect, and reality creation in a way that changes how you see everything. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If this topic makes you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means something you already sensed is being touched. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to explain will connect moments in your life you never realized were related. And if this resonates at any point, don't overthink it. Subscribe. This channel isn't for everyone, it's for people who feel there's more going on beneath the surface. You are participating in its formation. In 1927, during the Fifth Solvay Conference, Danish physicist Niels Bohr presented results from the double slit experiment showing that electrons behaved as probability waves until measured. When detectors were placed to observe which slit the particle passed through, the interference pattern vanished instantly. The result was verified repeatedly. Observation didn't reveal reality. It selected it. This shattered the idea of an objective universe existing independently of perception. It meant quantum consciousness was not poetic language, but a functional variable inside the quantum field. Now, connect that to your life. Those moments when synchronicities stack too precisely, when déjà vu hits with emotional weight, not memory blur. when it feels like you narrowly missed another version of events. If particles collapse through observation, then your subconscious mind is collapsing outcomes through frequency, expectation, and emotional vibration. Reality creation becomes feedback, not fate. Two people stand in the same room, yet experience entirely different hidden reality streams because perception filters energy differently. In 1963, Nobel Prize-winning physicist Eugene Wigner stated plainly that consciousness is fundamental to quantum mechanics. Not optional, fundamental. But they don't teach that in school because a system where perception shapes reality cannot be centrally controlled. If this stirred something real, describe one moment below you couldn't explain. Not for proof, for resonance. Because here is where everything changes. Now here's where this stops being abstract and starts getting uncomfortably personal. Most people think reality creation happens through positive thinking, affirmations, visualizations, wanting harder. That's not how the quantum field responds. What actually collapses reality isn't what you think once in a while. It's what your subconscious mind expects consistently. Your nervous system observes reality long before your conscious thoughts catch up. In 1977, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet demonstrated that the brain makes decisions milliseconds before conscious awareness registers them. Your body reacts first. Your awareness arrives later. Which means most of your observation is happening below consciousness, through emotional memory, survival patterns, and repeated attention. And the quantum field responds to that signal. This explains something most people feel but can't name. Why you keep running into the same relationships with different faces. Why the same fears resurface no matter how much you work on yourself. Why life feels like it's looping, not moving forward. It's not punishment, it's feedback. Your frequency is stable, so reality stays consistent. Here's the disturbing implication. Trying harder without awareness doesn't break the loop. It strengthens it. Because effort charged with fear is still observation. This is why so many intelligent, capable people feel exhausted. They're unconsciously rendering the same version of reality every day, then blaming themselves for the repetition. And if you've ever felt moments of déjà vu during these loops, not nostalgia but recognition, that's your awareness brushing against parallel outcomes that didn't stabilize. Reality almost went another way. You felt it. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Max Planck said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." But they don't teach that in school. Because once people understand that consciousness creates reality, control systems lose their grip. If this resonates, don't explain it away. Comment one moment where life felt stuck in repetition, but wrongly familiar. Not to prove anything, to signal resonance, because it gets stranger from here. And this is where everything starts to change. And this is where everything starts to change. In 1978, physicist John Archibald Wheeler published the delayed choice experiment, showing that a particle's behavior could be decided after it had already passed through the measuring device. The choice to observe came later, yet the outcome adjusted retroactively. The result was verified again and again. Reality did not simply react in advance. It waited. At the quantum level, events were not finalized until observation occurred. This shattered the classical idea of linear cause and effect and pointed directly at quantum consciousness as an active variable inside the quantum field itself. Now, connect that to your life. Those moments when synchronicities stack too perfectly. When déjà vu hits with emotional weight. When it feels like another version of events almost happened. If observation collapses possibility, then your subconscious mind is constantly shaping reality creation through vibration, frequency, and expectation before awareness catches up. Parallel outcomes don't vanish. They simply lose energy, and sometimes you feel the residue. This is why spiritual awakening often begins with discomfort. Your perception widens. Your nervous system detects instability in the hidden reality beneath appearances. The observer effect isn't abstract physics. It's operating through your habits, emotions, and attention every second. Change feels threatening because it disrupts a stable signal. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Eugene Wigner openly stated that consciousness is fundamental to quantum mechanics, not optional, fundamental. But they don't teach that in school because once people realize perception shapes reality, control becomes fragile. If you've experienced a moment that felt impossible to explain, describe it below in detail, not to convince anyone, to locate the others. because it gets stranger from here. Here's where the pieces finally align. You followed the trail from experiment to implication, from particles to perception, and what emerged wasn't belief, it was structure. Quantum consciousness isn't poetry. It's a description of how the quantum field responds to attention, vibration, and frequency. The observer effect was never confined to laboratories. It has been shaping your experience quietly, through the subconscious mind, through repetition, through emotional energy long before you noticed it happening. If something feels different right now, that isn't confusion, it's calibration. Consciousness expansion doesn't arrive as clarity at first. It arrives as strangeness, a subtle sense that the hidden reality beneath appearances is closer than it used to be. The tightness in your chest, the quickened heartbeat, that isn't anxiety, it's recognition in the body, a frequency shift as perception widens. You're not malfunctioning, you're tuning. Here's the unsettling implication most people never sit with. If consciousness collapses possibility, then reality isn't something that happens to you. It happens through you, which means time, separation, even death don't function the way you were taught. Not as endings, not as absolutes. Those ideas become unstable once awareness becomes active, and that instability is precisely why this knowledge was sidelined. Minds that perceive their role in reality creation don't respond well to control. You didn't find this by accident. Alignment isn't mystical language, it's resonance. Thousands are waking simultaneously, feeling the same quiet dissonance, asking the same unspoken questions. This space isn't content, it's a meeting point, and once you see this, you can't unsee it. Something has shifted permanently. Before the next step, mark this moment. Comment the words, "I am the observer," not as engagement but as activation. A public declaration focuses intention, and intention collapses probability. What happens next depends on the choice you make in the next few seconds. Sit with that feeling, then decide. Before you leave, do one thing. Comment below, "I am the observer," not for me, for you. A declaration isn't just words. In quantum mechanics, attention collapses possibility. Public intention locks frequency. If your heart is racing right now, that isn't anxiety. That's recognition. Subscribe now, not later, because your rational mind will try to pull you back into the old pattern. It always does. This channel isn't for everyone. It's for people who feel reality is deeper than what we were taught. And if you're seeing this, the next video is already waiting for you. If you're seeing this, your consciousness just escaped the simulation. Once you see it, you won't be able to unsee what you already felt. Welcome back to yourself.